Hello, friends. Today we are joined by none other than Nick's older brother. The conversation begins with an intense discussion about video games, past and present. You know, there is such good insight into gaming culture that there are whispers about this guest returning regularly to host the highly requested Triple Kill Gaming Pod. We also hear about some of his incredible accomplishments and stories, including turning a convention center into a field hospital. I wish I were allowed to speak to my family. I miss them greatly. But I signed my life away to work on this podcast until the boys make $1 million. Please welcome to the show, Chris Denby.
Thank you, Stanley, for joining us, man.
No, thank y'all for having me, man. I'm excited. Nervous, but excited.
No, there's nothing to be nervous about, dude. Dave was shivering his boots the first episode we did, and now he doesn't have a care in the world. Look at him.
Yeah. Did you boys have a nice Thanksgiving?
Yeah, man. Mine was good. We at our venue we do a giving heart every year. So for like for just the whole community, we let a lot of people in, do like a full event, and then so I did that most of the morning, and then after that went over to a friend's house with Eliana. So it was good. How about you guys?
You guys, is that somewhere you hand out food to people and stuff, or people can come grab some food from?
Yeah, it's through the Giving Heart Association. We just, we kind of like just staff it, bring up, let people into the venue, all that good stuff, kind of greet everybody. But yeah, they do like clothes donations, food donations, flu shots. They used to do haircuts, but not anymore. But it's a cool event. It's like a sit down meal. So, and they like put menus out so people can order like they're at a restaurant, and kind of gives them that whole family experience, and it's pretty cool. It's my 5th year doing it in a row, so always working Thanksgiving. But it's a good, nice reminder as you go into those holiday seasons,
Yeah, dude. It's
Yeah.
like the nicest thing you could do on a Thanksgiving, where most people are just fucking stuffing their face and getting fucked up and passing out on the couch. You're going out and just providing to a community.
Making AI videos that I was getting about our uncle.
Yeah, dude, we had made some gems, dude. Fucking Dave's the one that introduced me to that grok, and now it's consumed me.
Well, you were making videos?
Oh, dude, they're horrible. I cannot play them on the podcast. They're horrible.
Yeah, I made the mistake of opening them up when I finally did get to Thanksgiving dinner. And it was the first 2 seconds. I was like, well, that was a mistake.
Oh, yeah, volume loud.
Oh, yeah, very loud. It was Dad's, the one he sent me with that one. The first word he yells out of there. So I was like, all right, great.
Yeah, dude, no, Thanksgiving was good. Ate a bunch of food. We traveled, which we talked about. I went up to Maryland. So it's always good to travel, but it takes a lot out driving a distance back and forth with the kids and stuff. So luckily we got back Saturday, like midday. So we were able to get all our shit back in order. And then Sunday was just kind of like a reset for the work week type deal.
Nice. How did Jackson Aurora do up there in Ocean City with everybody?
It was awesome, dude. They had a great time. Jackson was wide open. He's running down the hallways and stuff. And he came back and chilled, and he ate a bunch of good food. And Aurora, she just was tearing up all the food, dude. She probably ate like 6 meatballs. I was like, nice. Holy hell.
I also probably should ask if we're allowed to use kids' names on here, my bad.
Oh, you're good, dude. But, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, we have created some enemies so far with our show, but not too many.
We will once you start playing Arc Raiders with us, Dave. I need you on there.
Dude, I was playing before the pod, I'll be honest with you.
Were you?
Yeah, I got killed like 3 games in a row, and I just started getting pissed, though.
Well, it's because you're doing it wrong. This guy comes in bloodlust.
No, dude. I'll be honest. No. This last, I was so helpful, and it was like it was like the map, and it had the storm going on, and so I was getting chased down by the Hornets, and so I went into the building. I killed 2 of them, and another dude came in. He had a shotgun, and I talked to him, and he was fine. So he ran and then he left, and then I started looting something, and I just got shot in the back by another guy that just came in the doorway and killed me. So then, yes, I did go on Bloodlust, and the next match I played, I did I just like I re-got all my gear. I bought everything, got the combat loadout, the medium shield. I was like, all right, dude, I'm going out and killing somebody. Well, I came out of this building in the spaceport because I unlocked that one.
Oh, nice.
I run out, and one of those fucking things with the rockets shoots me, and I have nowhere to run. I'm open field, and I get shot again and lose the
Everything.
revolver gun. So then I'm just like, fuck this. I'm going on free loadouts and killing everybody. And yeah, I'd killed no one. I did kill one guy, but he evac'd. I killed him in the train.
Yeah, it's before we jump into Arc Raiders, how was your Thanksgiving, Dave? Because this is gonna be a good conversation because it just starts taking over, as we all know.
No, I was curious to hear about it because I haven't downloaded it yet, but I need to. And I'll be down to play one of these nights, maybe this week, or maybe on the weekend. But no, our Thanksgiving was good. It is fun now watching the babies are at a good age to just like start eating all the food, eating turkey and green beans and all that stuff.
That's awesome.
They just pretty much eat the same thing we do, so they enjoyed it. We got together with some friends and family, and it was a nice time, boys. But I gotta say, I fell off my habits. I wasn't working out over the holidays at all. I was just chowing down.
It's hard, especially during the holidays, to make time for it. Because then I don't want to burn too much time in there because I feel like everyone's waiting on me, and that's always been like the struggle, especially when you travel for family. Like, I couldn't imagine. Well, I mean, it's easy in Ocean City because our dad's obsessed, so we kind of use that as our scapegoat when we go into those kind of things. But I can totally get it.
It made it
And
easy.
you're stuffing your face with a bunch of delicious food, and it's like I kind of just want to chill, especially when it got nice and cold out. So
yeah, dude.
But
I feel like with the holidays and stuff, you spend like so much time just like getting the kids situated.
Yeah,
if you're gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, with you guys with that kid aspect to it all, I can only imagine. It has to be making sure they're good, make sure they're ready, and making time to lift. I was listening a little bit to your last week's podcast, and I can only imagine because I don't have any kids on my end. I just got 2 dogs, and it's easy as take them for a walk, put them in their big pen, and be like, all right, I'll see you in a bit. But
yeah,
dude, that's one of the biggest struggles in Ocean City was we had the Airbnb and we went to Uncle Johnny and Aunt Dot's, but it was like neither house is kid or baby proof,
Right.
So it's like, dude, eating was the only respite from that. Like, other than that, I'm like following Aurora around because she's like grabbing on the glass table and like trying to pull things off the countertops, and there's outlets and stuff, and she's like, so it's like your whole time you are just constantly like kind of like monitoring, and it's fun for the kids, and they're having a blast, but in terms of like relaxation, it was non-existent until both the kids sat down and it was like, all right, let's eat. And then right after that,
every time you would call me in the evening, you were done. I could hear it in your voice. I was like, this dude's not long for this world.
Yeah, dude. We'd take them to the park, dude, and run them, and they would just still come back and be wide open. The kids have infinite energy.
I feel like, especially in an environment like that, where all the family's there, they're getting hyped up by everything around them, So just from the uncle perspective, yeah.
Yeah, and Joey the whole time's wild and everybody
wide open all the time too. Yeah, that guy has kid energy.
That guy gets it.
I keep thinking about that. You saying that you went nice and dressed up to Thanksgiving, and then realized no one else was, and then he's just the way he responded to you. Did he tell you about this, Dave?
No,
our uncle
talked.
Go ahead and tell him, Stan.
He's like,
also, I call Nick Stan for everybody that's listening. That's what we've done. I don't know for how long. It all stems from South Park, so we can get into that in a little bit too. But this story kills me.
But our uncle's super eccentric, and he's very like outspoken. Just walks in the room and is just immediately wants to be center of attention. I love him to death. But
100%, yeah.
We got a big Italian family up in Maryland, and so I got a nice polo, and I go in there and I'm like, I'm gonna dress up for Thanksgiving dinner, because there's so many times in my life, and Stan can attest to this, I'm the guy that shows up looking like a bag of ass because I've never really cared about that shit. I'll just like, I'll wear whatever is comfortable and show up to the dinner. And I was like, you know what? I'm a changed man today. I'm showing up. I fucking had all my I threw it in the dryer, did Stan's trick with the ice cubes. I was prepped for dinner. So I show up, and dude, like, my dad's in like one of those baseball shirts that's got like the sleeves down to here and shorts, chilling on the couch. Everybody else, like my little brother, little sister, they're in like hoodies and shit. And I'm like, fuck, man. And so I go, and I had brought another shirt with me. I brought a jersey with me. So I went and threw the jersey on, and they're all in there watching football. So I come down, I sit down, and our Uncle Joey, he's like, what the fuck? He's like, he's like, you were just dressed up nice. And then he's like, now you just go and now you look like a bag of shit. And so he has like this white, super fucking tight, like sweater shirt on. And I'm like, dude, that's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you're in a fucking sweater shirt. Like, you're not dressed up. And he just went into like full eccentric mode. He was like, okay, first off, he's like, this thing just got out the dry cleaner. He's like, I got my leather on. I got my gold on. He's like, I got a bottle of wine from 2013, drinking that. He's like, I'm ready for Thanksgiving dinner. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
So did you go back and change, or did you stay?
No, I stayed in the jersey. It's like, fuck that. Oh no.
We lost him.
All right. I'm back.
Yeah, I
don't know what happened. My bad.
Yeah, you froze up.
I realized that you're right when you hit the what the fuck, everything just collapsed on us.
Yeah. But
So
anyways, yeah, so that was a little insight to his ass. Now we need to get into the Arc Raiders too, because we were getting deep into that.
All right, so I did a couple matches yesterday. You're supposed to play, but this doesn't show up and left me to die on my own Esperanza. But I'll tell you what made me. I've never been an extraction shooter guy, and for those that don't know, Arc Raiders is your extraction shooter with its own little twist on it. And I never played Tarkov, but the one thing that it kind of got that bug in me was playing. We're playing Battlefield, the Red Sec with you guys. And that rat mentality of popping those lockers, getting the loot, and going for it. And that kind of, so I watched a couple videos. That Burnt Peanut guy, I was kind of seeing his stuff. It was making me laugh. I was like, it looks kind of fun. And it's like kind of that part about Red Sec that I was liking, which was getting that loot and kind of rolling around. And so I've been hooked on it for about a week and a half. So it's been a good time. But the last round I did, this guy, we were in the seed vault in this in the medical labs area. You haven't been there yet. That's like the last map you unlock, Nick.
Yeah.
And I walk past him friendly. I say it out loud, keep doing my thing, and he shoots me in the back. But I was able to dodge roll out of it, hit him with a nade. Then he runs away, and then those face huggers kill him.
Oh.
And then the game, Dave, it's not just PvP, it's PvE as well. So there's these things called the Arc, and there's all different kinds. And they have one that's like the face hugger from Alien, and it just attacks you just like that. And then on a mic, he goes, "Hey, dude. Hey, I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm out of health. I don't have anything, and these little face huggers are killing me." So I just went in there and I knocked him out, and then I started doing the stuff, and keep looting, and then I hear a fight happening outside the door, and I pop it open, and this guy just attacks this dude from behind, kills him, and then I avenge him, and that guy's thanking me for doing it, and so it's just fun, man. It's just a cool. There's so much social interaction. I've never been that guy either. I'm always big solo games, RPG stuff like that. So it's been a nice change of pace to talk smack or just be friendly or just make up stories. We're freaking walking through, me and we're playing yesterday, singing Buffalo Soldier at the top of our lungs just to mess with people that could hear us in proximity, and we sound like Orc Guy because you can change your voice in there. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
But-
and everyone has to be in game chat, right? So it's only proximity. Like you have to be close enough to hear each other.
So when we're like in duos or we'll do trios, we can have our own group chat together, and then we can toggle proximity off
Just
off
press
and
a button
on.
on your
So like,
controller.
Oh,
yeah, it's
so if
just
you want to
down
be,
on the D-pad. Yeah, so we can make our plan and then pop it open, and it'd be like, all right. And then Mr. Bloodlust here is like, let's kill him. And he's like, with like one shield, no health. He's like, I'm ready. I was like, no, you're not. And then we got smacked pretty good that match. But
That game,
it's just so much fun.
it's so high stakes, dude, because a big part about it is like you pick your loadout when you go in, right? And it's all shit that you've picked up from your previous playthroughs. And if you
Mhm.
die, you lose all of it.
yeah,
And then so it gives you an option, which is nice to do like a free loadout, but it gives you a shit gun. Sometimes you get a decent one. Like the Pharaoh. If you get that, then you're good to go through a match. But it's like that game, man. When I play it, I cut it on, and when I play solo, I put this fucking headphones on as full blast. And dude, your heart is like thumping, especially because like you get to the extraction point and you have good shit.
yeah,
You're like, dude, all it takes is some rat to come in here while I'm trying to fucking work this computer and shoot me in the back. And
yeah.
it's a tough game, but it is like it's so rewarding when you get out of there, like you get a silencer or something, and then but then it makes you pick and choose your next match. Like the better shit you get, every match afterwards, it just gets more and more high stakes because you're like, dude, I got these great guns, and it's like it will
Yeah.
help me if I get into a scrap, but if I get shot in the back, I lose it all.
Yeah, I feel like the move is always like team up with someone and earn their trust, and then shoot them right before the extraction comes in.
And that's the one thing I noticed. When we played duos, people are a lot more hostile. And
Yeah,
they say that in trios too. But the solo maps, 9 times out of 10, if you're not trying anything, people usually leave you alone. But then you sometimes get it like, if you do like, they have different types of raids, and that's what they're called. So like you go into a map, sometimes it could be a night raid or that electrical storm that Nick was talking about, where like the loot is upgraded, but the stakes are higher. So everyone's a little bit more blood hungry and just will snipe you out of nowhere and stuff.
I've noticed that those special maps, dude, is like everybody's fighting. But
And it makes you want to do
cool.
it too, especially if you haven't gotten anything. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, because I'm sitting there thinking, like, what is this bastard got? He just came out of the high loot area. That last match I did, I went down to the train station. And you know how, like, on the train stations, they have the dark corners?
yeah.
I tucked
You
in
hit the dark corner.
Yeah, I went in the dark corner with the Pharaoh, and so the guy goes and he starts on the computer pad, and I hit him with it, and he fucking runs to a corner. I throw a grenade, he takes off running, and I chase him down for a bit, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll let him go. So then I call in the train. Another dude starts coming down the steps, shoot him, he takes off running. So I've shot like 3 people, so it's like I have to just commit at this point to like fighting my way onto the train. So I come around the corner. There's a dude about to board the train, and I shoot him. And nobody has had proximity chat on at this point except for this guy. And he's like, come on, dude. He's like, you really want to do that? And I just didn't even say a word. I was just like locked in. I was like, I got to kill his ass. So then he goes around the train. And I pop out with the Pharaoh, shoot and miss. And then I was like so anxious to start fumbling with the controller. I accidentally open up the menu, and he had like the starting pistol, and he just mowed me down with it. And then he stood over me. He's like, yeah, that was a good choice, wasn't it? And then he just went and extracted. I was like, motherfucker.
And that's the best part is when that one guy, like when Nick, probably our second match, we saw these guys extracted. We just started tossing grenades in there, and that guy just called us every name under the sun as the gates were closing. And then like there was no way we were gonna get him, but it was like let's try to kill him before it was rat behavior for sure.
Yeah, we were hiding in the bushes, and you just see like 5 grenades just and dudes are in there screaming.
But you guys had no chance to get in there. Like you were gonna die anyway, so you just threw them.
No, so like if they get
Yeah.
on that computer and it starts shutting, that's
Oh.
or like so even if like let's say I down you and you're in there and you're able to get that computer, you can still extract and it shuts pretty quickly. So
Oh.
we downed him and that's when he started screaming at us, but the gates closed as we heard him and his voice slowly drifted away.
There's like you gotta like you press a terminal no matter what you're doing, unless there's like
Mm.
these little hatches you get a key for. But
Hmm.
you press a terminal and that calls either a train or an elevator or whatever, which signals, and Stan heard it and he's like, they're calling in that elevator. So it takes a good minute for the elevator to get there. So that's when we ran up and hid in the bushes. Then you have to go in the elevator and it takes what, 5 to 7 seconds to do the control
Yeah.
panel, and that will start closing the gate. So when they ran in, that's when we started throwing the frags at them because we didn't know where they were. It's fun though, dude.
Yeah, I'll definitely be down to give it a try. What do you guys think over on the weekend? Any Friday night plans?
Oof. So we're traveling to Albuquerque Saturday. I don't know how much my wife wants me to get into it, but it's something for her father. So we'll be kind of tied
Okay.
up with that, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, but I say you download it right now as we're talking, and there's a chance we trios right after that.
Yeah, do a little quick trios.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
But I
be down.
guess I'm sorry.
No, I said I'd be down. I'd be down to get it. But
It's good, man. I will say it's $40 well spent. I've definitely got my money's worth with it. And like I said, I'm not the guy. I'm not the PvP extraction guy. But it's fun, man. I don't know what it is about the game that's got me in its hooks, but
And they're
it's got it.
timed. So it's like max. If you play a match, max is 30 minutes, but most time you get fully looted and you get out of there in 15.
oh,
And
really?
sometimes you go in like delayed, so you could pop in. And there's 17 minutes left on the map, so
Right.
that's kind of fun too because you're like going and there's like, oh, this shit's already looted. Oh, there's already dead arcs. And then you start hearing the footsteps, and that's the one thing I'll say about this game. That's like the sound design in this game is amazing.
It is.
Like you hear I think even better than Battlefield did it. Like those footsteps and like them prying stuff down the hallway open. You hear that, and then you hear them fighting. And then you're like, oh, that's where you guys are. And
Yeah,
then you
dude.
slowly start creeping. And then like I don't know if you guys could tell, I'm still fighting a little bit of a cold. I was doing it yesterday and I had a proximity channel, but I was like, and then the guy just like spins around real fast and starts firing. I'm like,
Yeah.
just mouth breather to the max. They got me.
Yeah, I mean, what were you guys talking about? There's voice changers, but wait, you're saying too the game's only $40. That's interesting. All these other new games coming out are like 70. Wonder why it's only 40.
I think
It's getting such good reviews.
Well, there's no campaign and stuff, which that's not a deal breaker. I honestly
What
couldn't
I
tell you.
honestly
It could
think
be a
is-
$60 game or $70 game.
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't have been mad if I spent that much money, honestly, after playing it. But I think what they looked at was Helldivers. And Helldivers with that $40 price
Oh.
tag and how successful it was. And in a sense, kind of similar. It's kind of an extraction shooter in a way. I don't know if you guys played Helldivers at
Yeah.
all, but
Yeah.
I think they paid attention to that. And I think it was smart to kind of slide in, especially with a game like Stan said, with no campaign. It's all, the PvP and the PvE is all what you experience and the stories you make, which that's the kind of cool thing. You make the stories. Like what we're telling you now is nothing that they wrote into the game. It's, we wrote it kind of in a
Right.
way where we were acting like rats, or we're acting like good guys, or, you defib a stranger to give them up, or, you just punch him in the head and you laugh as you do. It's weird. It brings out like that old, that Call of Duty, Halo 2, Halo 3 lobbies where you're just toxic sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, especially if you lost everything the match before and like you said, you roll into that next match just like,
Yeah, I'm killing the first person
I see. And then you hear like a sad voice. He's like, man, I was just getting freaking prickled pears. I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry, buddy, but it didn't have to be this way.
Last thing, well, Dave, you should download it. We should run trios after this. But last thing before we get into change gears,
I thought this was the Arc Raiders
kill today.
podcast. What are we talking about?
Huh?
I thought this was the Arc Raiders podcast. That's what I was told when I jumped on here. I'm just kidding.
I got my first kill today. And so how it happened was, you know, those, actually it was just a normal breach and search, but it was out in the open and it was the electric storm map.
Okay.
It was like the first thing I came up on. And so I start breaching it and it's like taking a long time. It's like one of those downed pods sideways that gives you like 700 XP when you break it open.
Oh, yeah. Those arc probes.
Yeah.
It screams the whole time you're prying it open.
So I'm prying it open, dude. And I'm like, you know, I'm doing like the look to the left and right. And I'm like, man, it'd be nice if I could look all the way behind me. Well, I look all the way to the left and there's a guy in a dead sprint with the hammer coming at me. And he's like close. So he starts piecing me up. He almost killed me. I couldn't get off the thing fast enough, but he just starts piecing me up with it. I spin around, hit him with the Pharaoh, and then pull out the Rattler and just unload into him. And I was like, first kill. And I felt good about it because I wasn't a rat. You know, I got attacked first.
He did it, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, that was good.
Yeah, I got my first kill with the hammer not too long ago, and that felt good. Like, cause he shot me, same thing, and we were inside the extraction, so it's close quarters. And I just wailed on him like Oblivion style. And that's the fun thing about it I've been saying a bunch of the fun things about it, but like, yeah, those kind of stories and like you were saying, your chest starts beating really hard. That happened to me in the last match I did. Like the guy sniped me with the Pharaoh and I had no health, but then I like hid in one of the special doors that someone had already opened. And I just stood there with the shotgun just like this for maybe 5 minutes, and then everyone went away. And then I rolled out, and another guy was there. He's like, "Oh, throw him." I'm like, it's like all like shell shocked, just like slowly limp to the extract. But
all right, so you sent the bio, and we won't get into the Patreon question quite yet because I want to do a little bit of background. But first off, Army veteran, all right? So, you know, you've listened to the podcast before. A lot of the times we've had buddies from the Marines on, and then we had Walker, who is now Army Reserves as well. What, you know, I don't think I ever asked you, but growing up, what was your reasoning for joining the Army? Like, what was the mindset?
I would say the first moment, I remember this, it was in 4th grade where I really said I wanted to join the military, not necessarily just the Army, was 9/11. So when 9/11 happened, as you all know, that was like probably the closest the country's ever been as one unit. Flags everywhere, everyone's together. And I just remember as a kid, you know, it's cheesy and as cliche as it sounds, I remember that just being the moment. And then that came and went, you know, and as I got older, and then I got probably close to junior year, and I started thinking about what I wanted to do. I was playing football, still kind of not taking it all too seriously, you know, and then senior year hits kind of hard, as we all know, and it's like, oh, okay, what am I doing with life after this, right? And that's where I look back and I laugh a little bit because I thought I was hot stuff, right? Football. Looking back, I was like, come on, guy. You know what I mean? But I did have like Randolph Macon talking to me, and, you know, but I thought I was, I'm not D3, I'm this and the other, you know what I mean? So I'm joining the military, I'm going back, you know. And I always had the military in the background. I'd already talked to recruiters. I talked to, you know, the Navy like was the first one that approached me because they would come to Savannah all the time when we were in high school. And I was like, the thing that kind of got me with the Navy, and thought it was like the guy came in like those class white, like their white uniform, and I was like, I can't do that, man. And, you know, no, but, you know, like they got the SEALs and stuff. They got, you know, they're rocking and rolling. But and then I just I did look at the Marines, but at the time, I guess Paris Island had a lot of shoulder injuries, and as you know, in football, I blew my left shoulder out. So they were kind of like, maybe, you know, we could, you know, go to MEPS and find out. And I was like, all right. So then, you know, you kind of work. There was like this little thing in Charlottesville, and it was like each recruiting office. I'm sure it's in every city where it's like Navy, Army, Air Force, Marines. And I talked to the Army. I really liked everything they were saying, you know, and then I did like their PT and all that stuff so I could go in at a higher rank if I ended up committing fully. So yeah, and ended up doing that. As Nick knows, I left probably within actually exactly a month from graduation. I graduated high school, had a month of summer, and then I was on got dropped off at the recruiting center in a van to Fort Jackson. So
Yeah.
relax in Jackson, as they say. It was hotter than hell, and
Yeah.
it was a good time.
What and where all were you stationed throughout? I know you're at Jackson, and then of course you went to El Paso. Were you anywhere in between those two?
Yeah, so Fort Jackson was a basic and AIT, which is the specification trainings and stuff like that. And at when I don't know how it works for you guys too. At the end of that, they kind of like line everybody up, and each person goes up and they tell them where they're going next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, same
And
thing.
I still think about it to this day. Probably five people in front of me, Hawaii, 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 Hawaii. So I'm like, oh, we're getting Hawaii. And
Mm-hmm.
then they're like, Fort Bliss, Texas. I'm like, where's that? They're like, El Paso. I was like, I don't know. So I'm like, of course, first thing you do, I sit down and type in what's Fort, because we had access to computers at that time. And I'm
Mhm.
looking at it and I'm like, all right, this field artillery unit out in the desert. And but yeah, so I get to Fort Bliss, and I'll tell you, that's a culture shock just by the terrain alone. I got there probably like at 11:30 at night, so we couldn't see anything. They didn't know where we were going. We are supposed to be 4-1, but 4-1 didn't have anyone there for us. So we kind of got placed in like military police barracks. And so I woke up the next morning, and then, yeah, you just see these massive mountains, as you guys saw when you were in 29 Palms. Like,
Yeah.
that desert
Mhm.
terrain is crazy if you've never been to it before. And it's just beige everywhere. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
planted palm trees, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, just there. And then but to answer your question, mostly all Fort Bliss and a deployment. We were in Camp Virginia in Kuwait and Camp Buring, and then Cosmores in Mosul, Iraq. And
Yeah.
yeah. But we were part of Operation New Dawn, so it was like the close down
Mm-hmm.
and in Cosmores. So luckily, just mortar fire, stuff along those lines. Nothing too crazy happened while we were there. But the
Right.
big thing was like doing that the convoy from Merez all the way back to Camp Virginia at as 10 miles, 15 miles an hour, which is just
No.
craziness. And then stopping every time something seems off or
Yeah.
someone catches something at the front of the back and stuff. Yeah. But yeah. So between all those, but yeah, most of my time was Fort Bliss, Texas. So,
Yeah.
and then as we'll get into it, then I spent the next 10 years after that there. All 10 years in total there before I came back home. But yeah.
What was one of your fondest memories of the military and that whole experience? Or something you miss? Do you miss anything about it too?
I remember when first getting out, I'll start with what I miss. I really missed that structure, that we look back at it now, but I think that professionalism that got hammered into us, that respect to, I think, and I take this with me everywhere, not only to your superiors, but the respect that you built with your guys. And then when you got a really, really bad leader and you realize why they were bad, learning from what I won't be. So when you're in charge of soldiers or Marines, I won't speak for you guys, but that's I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
treat these guys like men and women, and let's you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I really miss that. I don't see that in the civilian world as much. Where sometimes I'm just flabbergasted how people will talk to supervisors or talk to one another or talk to the people that report to them. And I'm like, that's, well, report to them in the military. We got trashed a lot and smoked all the time. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that just saying good morning, as much as we would scoff at it, something, when we were in, like when you salute an officer in the morning or say good morning to a sergeant. And if you didn't do it, the consequences that came along with that. So it kind of got instilled in our brains just to be just common courtesy, but at a very high level. And I just miss that
Mhm.
really strict professionalism in a sense. I wouldn't want that in the real world, but I would love the lessons of that to be in more people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like somewhere
100%.
in the middle.
Yeah. I feel like here in the civilian world, a lot of it's way different. Like, you know what I mean? Just like a common courtesy in email where like there's not even greetings of the day, as silly as that sounds. Or like, hey, good morning. And then ask me for all the stuff you want from me or it's stuff you need from me, I don't know. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little nitpicky, but that's
No, it's
really
true.
something I miss.
Yeah.
And then just the overall, camaraderie of just being in the barracks and hanging out. And, when you
Yeah.
get that commiseration, especially after a long field problem or something along those lines, or God forbid you get back and they can't find equipment. And then we're all sitting there
Yeah.
hours in formation, just, oh, we haven't found it yet. So what are we doing? Well, we're going to stay here, but we can't help. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But then you get to talk with your boys, and when you get some free time, you get to go out or just all hang out and drink, play video games. It was just so cool because it was like you knew what you had to do. You get that done, especially when you get to the weekend. Yeah, you do the whole safety briefing stuff, and it takes forever. But in the back of your head, as soon as they're done keeping us here for way longer than they have to, we all get to go hang out and just relax a little bit, as much as you can until a room inspection at 6 a.m. on a Sunday and
Yeah.
all that. So, but
It made every
I'm
weekend.
kind of jumping around, my bad.
No, you're good. It made every weekend too. It felt like that much more special too, because all the shit you dealt with through the week and not having free time. If you're out in the field all week, those days start chipping by, and then when it's that Friday and they release you, and it's like you guys have already planned with the boys in the field the entire weekend of the shit you're going to get into, so it's like
just think about where you're going to get food and everything like that.
Yeah,
that's what I've always thought back. You can't. It's now that we're out, you can't recreate like the that suffering or that feeling of coming back on like a Friday afternoon, turning the rifles back in, and you're gonna go get some food with the guys after eating MREs all week or something.
Yeah.
It's like now I don't know, things are still enjoyable and rewarding, but it's hard. Like you have to like induce that suffering like on your own, like starve yourself or something, and then go.
I think that's why, honestly, I've lent so hard into the gym all these years after, where it's just doing that high, stressful, difficult thing and sitting there in the sauna and baking. And it's like, it's just, we hear it all the time, like on Joe Rogan and stuff, just do something difficult, especially, but it's like, I think that does ring some true. And I think it goes back to what you're saying, Dave. It's like we had such high, like, I don't want to say such low lows, but like such stressful, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're getting smoked for an hour at a time and you're in the upright, you're just doing it. Front lean to rest position. There we go. It's been a minute since I've had to say that, but you know what I mean? But like that kind of stuff. And like, you're right. That's just how you go in, you blow off some steam and you're like, all right. And then it's just so much more fun just doing the simplest of things. You know what I mean? It is true.
It's the truth, man. Booting up the game after, a workout is way more enjoyable than booting it up when you have not worked out yet.
Right.
Because it's like, I've done this thing. I worked myself. Parts of it were uncomfortable. And now here's the reward instead of like, just reward. And then you get, numb to it. Like one of my fondest energy drinks that I don't even drink it anymore because it's terrible for you. But the NOS, that blue can, and the reason it was one of my favorites, and I always think about it when I see it, is we had a NOS vending machine in the barracks, and we would do like a 15, 20-mile hike, and it would just be hell. But I was like, dude, the second I get back to those fucking barracks, I'm getting one of those NOS energy drinks and pound, and it's ice fucking cold out of that vending machine. And it was like such a simple pleasure, but it was like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll never drink another energy drink that is that fucking good.
Nah, you never. And it's funny you say, because it's right. It's those simple little things where it's just like, you know what I mean? I'm at like same thing. Like I remember getting, I want to say it's Borderlands 3 came out, and it was just a hell week. You know what I mean? And I was like, but when I get home, I get to go. No, I'm lying to you. It was Halo 3. This Halo 3 came out, and I was just like,
wow.
it doesn't matter. I don't care how brutal all this is. But I get to play Halo. I get to go to we went to the midnight release there on Fort Bliss at the GameStop. And you know what I mean? It's like, and that's probably the last midnight release before everything went full, I mean, it took a couple more years before then, but one of the most memorable midnight releases that I went to. But I just remember how, if I went to one now, I just know I'd be like, well, I'm not playing this when I get home because
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm just going to go to bed. But dude, did I do
Yeah.
that? No, we get back from that midnight release. I'm playing that probably till 3 a.m. in formation by 5, It
And that
doesn't
was
matter.
a fantastic Halo. That was a great fucking midnight release.
So good, man. So good. I remember I posted that dumb. I remember I sent I think it might have been Twitter. I can't remember back then. But I put like that thing for Family Guys. Couldn't find the words, so I should have hired a poet and like put this picture of the game. What can I think of what it's called? The booklet game.
Oh, the case?
Yeah.
Case. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Too much arc readers, too ratting around, brains a little scattered.
Talking about a fucking
Yeah.
rat, dude. The last midnight release I went to was Skyrim. And when I got it from the GameStop, I walked out of the GameStop and this fucking rat pulled his laptop out of his car and put it on the hood of his car and started playing and fucking started downloading the game. And he was just gonna sit there and he didn't even have the fucking strength to get back to his house to start playing.
That's what I don't want to know if we want to get into this tangent about Bethesda Game Studios, because I feel like that's an hour in itself. But like, I remember Skyrim and how amazing that was and how good it was. And then I look now, when it released in 2011, right?
Yeah,
so here we
2011,
are,
yeah.
16 years later. We're all lived our lives. We've all been through the military. We've all deployed. You guys we all gotten married. You guys have kids. All from Skyrim to the Elder Scrolls 6 that is yet to come out. That's insanity.
That is a great
Insanity.
point. That's a great point.
Like,
yeah. When is that supposed to come out anyway? Are they talking about it?
I think the rumor is 27, 28. But do you think, I mean, when Oblivion Remastered came out, it sold gangbusters and it was on Game Pass. So that says something, right? But do you think it'll live up to, because I feel like Starfield didn't. I feel like Starfield was kind of a bust to me. And then what they just did with this Fallout 4 anniversary was the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. But
yeah, well, here's my biggest worry, dude, is, I love Oblivion and I love Skyrim. I think Oblivion was better. I've always said that.
100%.
My biggest issue, my biggest worry with it is, imagine how many great Bethesda games we would have if they would just say, let's just keep Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. And like every 2 years, you pump out one or the other. And maybe until you drive it into the ground. But both of those franchises are not into the ground yet. People still want to play them. You know what I mean? If they would have dropped Skyrim 2 or 3 years after Oblivion, would it be what it is today? No. Would it still be a great game? Because you have all those developers that had worked on Oblivion working on Skyrim. And it would be a great game. And then you could say, here's the next iteration. And you have that still core team who's passionate about it. But now, the Elder Scrolls 6, look at all the shit that's happened to us since Skyrim came out. There's definitely nobody left that made Oblivion. So it's going to be a completely different game because you have all these completely different developers working on it now instead of the guys that made the games that we loved. It's the same studio, but it's a different team.
That's what happened with BioWare. I mean, you look at
Right.
Dragon Age of Veilguard, it completely bombed. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're cover bands. You know what I mean?
You're
like It's a
right.
cover band of your original studio. Like that's not the full team that made Mass Effect or the Dragon Age that we all know and love. I mean,
Yeah, you get to keep the name, and so like it's like a false hype because on the surface,
happened to
you're
everything.
thinking, you think this is gonna be great. Yeah, that is
Halo
true.
is
Everything went down.
absolutely heartbreaking to me. Is
Like
that
over
Halo, the way
like you see the stretch of years, like the golden years with the the first 3, and then a couple more. Like even Halo Reach was good, but then it just starts falling off once those people, if they stay with the company for like 10 years and then they moved on, eventually they're all gone.
Well,
And
I look at what Nick's saying about Bethesda, and I think Bethesda's biggest problem, honestly, is how tight they hold on to those IP. Because I look at
Mhm.
the best Fallout, still in my opinion, is Fallout New Vegas. That was Obsidian. I was like, you imagine a Bethesda that would like let their IP out and like, yeah, they're still the core guys. Like the core numbered franchises are coming from them. But imagine like a Elder Scrolls like Baldur's Gate 3, like a
Right.
tactical, deep role playing RPG, or I don't know, the same thing like a tactics like Wasteland 3, but the Fallout universe. You know what I mean? Like there's so many now they're part of Xbox family, you know,
Mhm.
like have other developers crank out different versions of your stuff and like we would get more of that IP and then you get like all it's going to take is one really really good Elder Scrolls or Fallout thing to come out that just makes us all like, "Oh, I cannot wait for that numbered one." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
mhm.
Like Oblivion Tactics was amazing, but imagine when 6 comes out,
Right.
you know, but
Exactly. And I think too, probably something that's changing is the generations. Like what we enjoyed as games and what sold is different than what nowadays newer gamers like Fortnite was a massive, massive seller, and it's a full microtransaction based, not based, but how much money they
I would
made
say
off of
based.
that.
I would say
Yeah,
based. $20 a skin. You know what I mean?
right. And it was off the battle royale premise, but PUBG came before it, and I played the shit out of. They played the shit out of that too, but it
Yeah.
wasn't that visual popping and you know, all the skins and all that shit. It was more of a tactical shooter. And I think that a lot more of the generation, I might be completely wrong about this, but they're looking for like instant rewards in the games where like the games that I grew up loving, like Morrowind and Oblivion, where um you kind of have to figure shit out and you have to, it's not a set
Yeah.
path of what you're going to do in that game. You have to really build your character. And like the older Halos, it felt like, yeah, it was a direct path, but it was still like, it was more complex to it. Like it wasn't just so hold your hand and point A to point B and,
Mhm.
get to the multiplayer or get to this. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like that landscape's changed a little bit too.
No, I would agree with that 100%. I think that live service is what you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think you'll still get big games like Expedition 33 but you know what I mean? Like they like celebrated 3.3 million. Remember that was like a big thing. That's how many copies they
Mhm.
sold. And granted, they were on Game Pass too, so that kind of maybe skews it a little bit.
Mhm.
But that's the game right now. It's probably going to sweep the Game Awards, right? Um, but that doesn't even compare to the sales of, I know Call of Duty is kind of a bust this year, and I kind of want to talk about that in a second if you guys are game.
Yeah.
But like comparatively, like, and I hate to say, we're all kind of part of the problem in a way because I'm all in Arc Raiders. We were all in a Battlefield, and those are the kind of games that take so much of your attention,
Yeah.
where like you
Yeah.
take away from those single player things, and because they are fun, they have that social aspect, but like
Yeah.
I love I played Metaphor ReFantazio, which is like a Persona-esque game last year and ended up loving it. But you're watching a movie and I could see what like the short attention spans that we all kind of have now
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So I think you're right. I think you're hitting it right on the money. I think that's the world we're in and kind of like we're the old heads of gaming now where it's like, yeah, but remember Skyrim, remember it's like we're like the member berries, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
remember when gaming was like a little bit deeper than that? Like you could have both things, but
Yeah.
that's my only fear is like maybe the future is a little bit all live service. I just hope that's not the case because it's
Look how much time
like we just
fucking
talked
Bethesda's wasted on 76.
well, how much money they spend on making these games. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
spending on a single player game that your reward isn't going to be as much as a Fortnite skin, you know?
Yeah.
and that's
They've
the
dropped
kind of the
more
fear
mobile
there.
games than they have fucking platform games in the last 10 years.
Oh, Bethesda with their dumb
Yeah, the
was
little
a Fallout Shelter and then Elder Scrolls
yeah.
Castles. Like, get out of
yeah,
here
and
with
it's
that,
like,
man.
just fucking stop working on shit like
But
that.
people are buying it. You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
gonna buy it and buy the season pass. And I'm guilty of it when it comes to Diablo. They've made World of Warcraft skins, and I bought the Lich King one, the Garrosh
Right.
Hellscream, because we back in the day where me and Nick played some of that World of Warcraft
Oh, he hit it
back in
hard, dude. That shit.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, that game has fallen too. That game used to be fantastic.
what?
Well, like you said, it's probably the same thing. The developers don't like, and I mean, maybe there's some people that have just continued to work on it for 20 years, but those games are so long. Like, it's the same kind of thing with RuneScape. That was like the poor man's version of World of Warcraft. I feel like
Yeah.
it was over time, it just changed. But yeah, the
And
stuff with Fortnite and all that, it is like it's quick dopamine hits. Like you just open a chest in that game, and it's like these bright lights and sparkles, and you get the loot's all bright colors and everything like that. So I think that definitely, but it also the gameplay is pretty good, or like really good in that game. To stand strong this whole time.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
like
you
I said,
brought up
Diablo 4. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you brought up RuneScape. I think that is one of the biggest testaments to what we're talking about, though, because it changed into a completely different game. So
Yeah.
much to the point that the old heads, so many people stopped playing it that they went back and released the version as it was in 2007, and more people play that version now than the newest updated version.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So they were like, well,
Yeah.
fuck this isn't working. Let's revert back to how this shit looked and played back in 2007. And I think that has like double or triple the player count of normal RuneScape now.
I believe it though, dude. So many people came up on that. Like you could just go to the website and play for free
Yeah, in the
on
browser.
on the family computer. Like if
Hey,
one
we all
computer,
played it. I think you played it too, Dave, right?
yeah,
RuneScape? Yeah. It's one of the few games where I think everyone's like, yeah, I remember playing that for a bit. Not realizing that's like but that and EverQuest for like those MMO RPG kind of.
I wish EverQuest would have kept going.
I remember, dude,
Part of me
we
does.
had an uncle in Florida that every time we'd visit, he would have all the newest games and stuff. And like, I'd play EverQuest, not knowing what the hell I'm doing the entire time, or you know what I
Right.
mean? But like, realizing that this is kind of cool. It's like a whole world and stuff. But yeah, I wish EverQuest would have stayed on, but WoW just smashed them right in the
Yeah.
mouth.
Hmm.
But speaking of that, like games dying with this, how bad this Call of Duty has been like received by everybody. Where like it's the campaigns like joke, the AI is blatant in it. You know what I mean? I've seen all this stuff, but like I've been hearing everyone saying like Battlefield's crushing, Arc Raiders, all this stuff, but like I would love to believe this is a wake up call, right? To them to be like, maybe we take a break, try to rethink this whole thing. But what I think what their benefit is that's this year, right? There's not going to be a new Battlefield next year. There's not going to be a new Arc Raiders next year, but there
Yeah.
will be a new Call of Duty. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm two minds of it. It's like, are they too big to fail? And with the analyzing, like being able to analyze and have that resources, is that like, okay, cool. Yeah, Battlefield was out this year and Arc Raiders out this year, but next year, yeah, we
Yeah.
got GTA 6, but that's it's a kind of a different game, gamer base, and that'll have their big moment. But as long as we're kind of far away from them,
I
but
think the Call of Duty is a strange game. I started really disliking Call of Duty. I don't even know, shit, maybe 4 years ago or so. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Just because of the repetition of it.
mhm.
But you have people that are complete die-hard Call of Duty fans. They don't matter
Yeah.
if their title has a big steaming pile of shit and it says Call of Duty 8 on it. A good portion of people will buy it still. It does, like, it's one of those strange games where it's like they are literally reselling what they have made last year and including some of the maps. So you get to play the maps you like, which just means that we're just importing the maps from the last game and you're paying again for it. And they'll make a minute change
Get new
about
town every year.
Yeah, zombies changes or typically it's zombies, which is where they do the big change, or they'll do movement in the multiplayer, like with Advanced Warfare, or Infinite Warfare, whatever it was, where you could jump off the fucking walls. And then the World War II, or it was like slowed down movement. But it's at its base, it's the same fucking thing, back to back to back every year.
Yeah.
I think you got that argument too with like Madden, FIFA, or Football Club, whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
It's the analyzation, but it's successful because people keep buying the same damn game every year.
And I think
that's all. Some people, that's all they play. I know guys that they aren't gamers, but they love Madden.
Maybe I'm just not that gamer where I can't, like, I want something. Well, I say that I'll play an old game that I like. I'll do that all the time. Like if I'm chilling and it's been a long day, and I'll boot up a game that I really liked if it has replayability. But I'm not somebody that wants to play a better graphic version of the game I've played already. Other than Oblivion remastered after years, but I'm not doing that on a yearly. If they drop another one next year and it looks slightly better, I'm not getting it. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even say with the Oblivion remastered, I was so excited for it, but I dropped off of it and didn't beat it.
Yeah,
beat like a story. I beat like a quest. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I agree with you too. Like I would, but it's also, I feel like that's kind of losing its taste to people too, where like everything's revamped, remastered, stuff like that. Now I say that, and if they remaster something else like Dragon Age Origins, I'd play that in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
It's hard with a game like Oblivion, I think, because like Dragon Age Origins, I haven't played them forever too, but I also played Oblivion into the ground. So like, I've actually been running it here and there just to get achievements, but like the joy, like I know every aspect of the game. I've done every mission. I know what's going to come next. So it's almost like, it's more like a mindless, I'm just going to get these achievements. And yeah, you're right. It's cool that they did it, but been there, done that. I want a new area to explore and a new thing to do in this world.
And I bought into the hype 100%. I remember booting it up and seeing it and just the excitement.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I'm like, oh, yeah, I've done this. I know this. I've done the arena a million times.
I took my lunch break at work, sat out in the car to watch the trailer when it dropped.
I remember we called each other right after. Did you see it? Oh my God. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what we want. We want Elder Scrolls 6, right? And we want the Bethesda that does handcrafted stuff and it's beautiful. And, that's where I feel like they lost their way kind of with Starfield, where everything's like generated. The epic items weren't even like, they weren't like special, like a legendary item, right? Like in Oblivion, I just remember the Dawn thing. And it's like it changes from fire and ice depending on the time of day. And it looks so cool. But in Starfield, you just get like, this is now a legendary version of this pistol that you've had since the beginning of the game.
Right.
It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think with like it takes certain type of people to be really interested in the space, like planet hopping kind of games and space travel. Like the reason I like the Elder Scrolls is because it's just one big map and you kind of work your way through it or go back to certain towns that you remember. But what made me not want to play Starfield was just like how it's like new, because that's what you said, right? Like everything, there's like new planets all the time, and it's like you're not really clearing anything.
There's quests and stuff, and I will say, writing wise, it's probably the best campaign of a Bethesda game for me in a while. Like I would give it that. It was really cool. It messed with your mind a little bit. But all the stuff that makes like a Bethesda game special was missing. I felt like the exploration, like to your point, like, yeah, you land on a building. Land on a planet that's not like one of the main planets. and it's all generated. So like it's like cave, dark cave, and you go through it, and it's like it looks like dark cave you were just in 3 planets ago with the same layout, and there's nothing special at the end of it. Like I said, you do all this, you kill all these things, you find all these things, and at the end, it's like I said, a slightly better pistol. Like, you know what I mean? That's where Oblivion and Skyrim were so cool. Like you get a Daedric artifact or something along those lines. But then what scares me about Elder Scrolls 6, I knew when we talked about Bethesda, it would be time consuming. What scares me about Elder Scrolls 6, though, is when they did Starfield Shattered Space, it was what you said, Dave. It was a handcrafted, one single map, all like their normal way of doing things. And it sucked.
Oh, really?
Story sucked. It had no impact, and the loot sucked. And it's like, I just pray that you learn from it, and that when Elder Scrolls 6 is a better version of this, not just because if this is what you guys are known for and you did it and it's not good, that concerns me. You know, so we all love video games, as anyone that's watching can tell.
Yeah. So let's go ahead real quick too. I do want to circle back a little bit and ask this Patreon question. So we talked a little bit about the Army, and then now you're the director of safety and security at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. Done this for 15 years, not there, but your experience in the public safety and venue management. And so we had a guy on here ask a question. This is Mr. Michael CC. He has probably commented on everything we've done, and he joins into every live episode we have. We had him on one of our last episodes, and he's a loyal fan. So we're gonna give him a shout out.
Like CC Pizza.
Like he's the CEO of that. He had started that.
Oh, nice. It's a good patron to have right there.
So here we go from Michael CC. Chris, having worked in the private security sector before, I know it can be a challenging job to find people with the proper mindset, especially when it's just a basic security job. Do you find that to be the case throughout the industry or just in the more entry-level positions?
So, to Mike's question, what makes what I do a little bit different than typical security? So, can I touch on that first and kind of work into that question?
Yeah. Handle it however you want to.
So, what makes it a little bit different? When my time in El Paso, my time here, and we can get into that if you guys want. It's venue management with that security branch of it. So it's that guest services, it's like guest services and public safety are like the two main pillars of that, right? Where like we want a very secure, safe environment. It's like when you go to a football game, right? You got to go through those checks, you got to make sure everything's good and safe, but also you want a good experience. We're not TSA, we're not screaming in your face. So it's like that strong, that balance of that. And I feel like sometimes, to Mike's question is like, in this industry that I'm specifically been in for these years, what I notice is you got to get some people, especially those entry levels, that have one or the other. They're either really good with customers, but they lack in that public safety side of it, or they're super public safety and they're super like tight security, but they lack that customer interaction, that stuff like that. So kind of I would say the most difficult thing in mine, I won't speak for everyone in the industry, but I think especially when hiring is looking for someone that kind of has both those qualities when it's not split in half. Because sometimes you have your event staff, you have your security, but even then, I always want everyone to be both things. You know what I mean? Not like by title, but like have both of those mentalities. Like to see something, say something, but not overburdening a guest or following them or putting hands on them. You know what I mean? Like you observe something, you're polite, you're kind, but you report that stuff. We have on-site RPD. We have on-site EMTs. You know what I mean? Like utilizing those resources. More so like I can see where people are too kind and they're not asking the right questions, well, especially like in an event or like a conference we're having and someone just walks through the door. Maybe someone doesn't say anything to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so it's like, well, I didn't want to profile. And it's just, you know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes it's just that lack of knowledge, but sometimes it's a lack of wanting to do something. And I have that too, where like I'll catch people just on their phone and it's like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if if you're not gonna, you like you're a service. Someone's paying for it, right? They're paying for a security or an event staff person there. So you need to engage and be active in their event, be it Comic Con or be it a small conference or a small meeting. Like they're still paying for said service. They should be treated with all that same thing. So, but yeah, and I'm kind of long winded on this, but it kind of just boils down to that where like I feel like the biggest struggle is, especially with just hiring lately, it's like people that truly take pride in what they do. And I think that goes back to when you asked me initially what I miss about the military. And I think it's that professionalism of it. It's like having that guest services mindset, the customer service mindset, that public safety mindset, but also having that foundation of professionalism that helps on both of those things in a lot of ways. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So tell me if I went a little long. I can
No.
pick some of that. But
Mike
yeah.
better be satisfied with that shit.
Yeah.
I
No,
want to
it's
highlight too, and you had something, Dave?
well, no. I was gonna say that was a good answer, very thorough, and I could see that that the challenge in that when I feel like a lot of times it can be everyone or someone assumes that somebody else is going to say something.
Mhm.
Like you said, if somebody just walked into the event, or it happens out in public too, or somebody sees like a car accident and they assume someone else is going to stop and or things like that. Someone else is going to report it.
Yeah.
No, and touching on that, Dave, I think that also plays into, and I think a lot of where that comes, that hesitancy, especially in the public space now, I really do feel like COVID did a number on a lot of people. I do, like mentally, despite what anyone thinks or what happened or it's real or it's not, you know what I mean? All the different things that happen. I think, but just how it all went
Yeah.
down has kind of shifted the mindsets in a lot of individuals. And I think that's where kind of that like, because it kind of, for that time
Hmm.
period, we're all kind of encouraged not to be around each other, talk to each other, engage in things like that. Where I feel like
Hmm.
before, and I know there's like a work term for it. Like if me and you both hear something, they're like, yeah, but Nick will report it. Nick will say something about it. If we hear someone scream outside right now, if I hear someone scream outside, like I'm busy doing this podcast, someone else will call for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of maybe amplified on that. Maybe I'm off base a little bit, but I feel like there was a shift, and I
Yeah.
feel it in a lot of people. And I think that's where a lot of that, going back to the difficulties that Mike's question said, I think that comes in that in play there too, where like people are so more hesitant to just approach or
Yeah, I could
call something out. Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely see that, and it's kind of perfect that you mentioned the COVID, because that's where I was going into the next part is, you had wrote, or on the bio, it had said, you had converted the El Paso Convention Center into the COVID field hospital. So I'm sure I want you to talk through that a little bit because I'm sure that was nobody was prepared for all the shitstorm that came with COVID, let alone
Mm.
to now turn a facility that has typically been used for people to have a good time and like you talked to come there and do their events and all that good stuff to now that this has transitioned into something that initially too everybody's thinking this is dire straits. So if you want to talk through that a little bit, how that all went down and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So obviously when COVID happened, a lot of everyone either furloughed or went work from home around our industry. And especially and this is, I was in El Paso at the time. It was me, the head engineer, then the supervisor that worked directly for me, and then our security team were basically the only people on site for an extended period of time. So we were kind of doing everything, like doing setups, cleaning. Like if we did like a full setup with the three of us to like for a photo op, and that's like going on scissor lifts, putting up pipe and drill, all that kind of stuff. So I learned a bunch of stuff, and I start with that because um, I want to say, and the timeline might be a little off here, but say for the sake of argument, like 3 or 4 months in, we get a call, right? And it's basically, to our general manager from the government, from the, from Austin, from the governor's office, that you are going to be turned into this. This is what's going to happen. So that's where I learned a bunch about how to coordinate with FEMA and all these different organizations, because they call us. And it's like, so what are going to be the red zones? When's it going to be hot? How are they going to come in here? How does that work? How do we staff it? Where do we staff it? What is it? What does that look like? What does the PPE look with that? Is it more advanced? And yeah, like I said, within like a week or two, we were fully, after that first call, they built stuff in. They like built in like rooms, like hospital rooms. They dedicated part. We had to like put this queen down and all different kinds of stuff in certain meeting rooms where like that's where like they were going on ventilators in those rooms, and they built out those rooms to house ventilators and stuff. So it was pretty intense, and like there was we didn't get told if anyone passed away, but you kind of got the vibe when trucks would come in and stuff like that. And it was something a lot. And I said it goes back to that, that thing, you're seeing that all day, right? You're seeing like your building has turned into this now. And it's, yeah, you're doing a great thing because you're helping, and, the hospitals are overrun with just so many things were going on. So it was like, yeah, we were a part of trying to help the community in that, right? But seeing like all these nurses and doctors and how tired they were and how tired we were, and we're all working as a unit. And then these, so that happened for a while. And then eventually we became the mass vaccination site. And so then that kind of shifted it, like, kind of moved the hospital stuff out of it. It became like an infusion clinic. They were doing like those infusions as well. But that was kind of scary because like you have like the infusion stuff going on the right. And this is before we all knew everything, right? And you had infusions going on one side of our building and then vaccines on the other. But people that were getting the infusions were positive. So it's like, how do we keep those areas clean with all the standards that we've been given? And that, it was a very high stress, high challenging thing that we met. We met as a team, met that, you know what I mean? And it was successful in it. And we knocked it out and did it. And it was like as fast as it happened and as fast as it went. And we just were able to help our community. And it's like, those are the kind of the moments like I love. Like I said, I've been in this industry for a while, and but the things I love the most is when we do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where we're really like just like we had a tragedy in El Paso. I don't know if you remember in 2019, August 3rd, there was an active shooter incident in Walmart. And a lot of people lost their lives. But the thing that we did is we activated as a victim center where people could come and do everything they had to do, find their vehicles that were still stuck over there if like they happen to be there. And that's where, and we got to help our community in such a, you know what I mean? So it's like, goes back to the giving heart we just did of Thanksgiving. It's like, I love when we do concerts. I love when we do big, like giant GalaxyCon conventions and we have 25,000 people coming to the doors. But then when we're doing something that's really helping the community and we're just like partners in that, it's, it sounds cheesy, but it's just, that's what like, those are those cool moments. You know what I mean?
And
so,
and correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the coolest thing and that's awesome how that all went down for the COVID thing and that you guys knocked that out. But just listening to you talk about kind of the different events and things that go on, what's got to be really cool from the outside listening in is you almost have to kind of wear a different hat every day or be prepared too for those special, I wouldn't say special, but those unforeseen events that are going to come up, and you have to have a really broad skill set. And then I'm sure you deal with a much different crowd, let's say at Comic-Con, than you would at, a heavy metal concert or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you have, like, I'd compare it to my job where I'm dealing with the same people, the same personalities every day. It's almost like you got to wear a different hat depending on the different group that you're dealing with, because to look for these things, or you have to use more of these skills to make this event successful than you would have to with a different event where it would take a different set of skills to make that event successful. So that to me sounds like what is a really interesting part about your job. I don't know if you'd agree with it, but
no, and I love that. And I know you've heard that term before where like every day is different, right? And it's I wouldn't say necessarily that, but like every day is different in a sense that like any every event that comes in is different. Yeah, they share similarities, but the people that attend, the people that are hosting it, totally different walks of life. Like, I won't say that some of the events just for the sake of, privacy or how they feel about that kind of stuff, but like a prime example, one day in October, we had 4 events in our facility, right? The whole building's activated. One is, and I've kind of told you this off the record, like just such high security. We're full open gates. We're doing checks. Everything's like at a certain point. We're doing dog sweeps, and keeping everything like tight, right? But another event that's larger and isn't as security focused as what's going on over here, right? So it's like I got to have that top tier, then go over there, still and give the same top tier performance and service, but with not what I have over there, if that
Right.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm going over here to check on this event, this large event, everything's good. Okay, golden. Going back over where I enforce it, where even I'm going through those checks when I'm going back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I try to explain to them, even if you're staff, even if you're this, like I don't know. I don't know how you feel about certain events. I don't know how you feel about certain things. That's what and that's a big thing too, kind of touched on that. When events come in and they have like different political backgrounds or ideologies, it's like we all have different beliefs and different things in our hearts and stuff and all those. But it's like and I always preach this. I'm like, they are guests.
Mm-hmm.
We invite them into it doesn't matter what side, what they believe in. They are guests, they're humans, and they're people we're going to take care of, and we're going to make sure they're safe and they have the best possible experience they have. And we and they get home safe at the end of the night. That's what's most important.
Yeah.
And that's hard sometimes because that goes back to Mike's question. It's like, can you turn that part of your brain off if you disagree with a certain group?
Right.
And be that person. And that's something I've learned throughout my, 15 years is like that stuff. And we have our beliefs and everything, but like you're at work, same thing as being Marines and soldiers. We have a mission. Even if we don't agree with said mission, we execute the mission, right?
Yeah.
You got it. And that's what I always try to tell everyone. Like they're at the end of the day, they're guests. And that's what they are. They are guests and they're paying clients and customers and treat them with the absolute respect to make sure they're safe. You know what I mean? And then like go home and you can say whatever you want about everything. Just
Yeah.
when you're here, you know what I mean? And I will say our team does a fantastic job of that. That's one thing I'm really proud of them about. I would say in El Paso too, where everyone just turns it on and they do what they're supposed to do. So that's a really cool thing that I see when I'm like craving that military professionalism. I see it in moments like that.
You're right.
And I just like, why can't we always be like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Here, I'm gonna mark it real quick, and take a quick piss and try to call Dave. I don't know if you see, but his shit's off.
yeah, I see him trying to connect. So
Is he? All right, I'm gonna take a quick piss and give him a call and see if we can get him back in real quick.
am I good to go too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Stan. Can you see? Stanley, talk to me. Let me exit out and go back in. All right, I'm back on.
All right, brother. Hey, so yeah. Oh, crispy.
I'm gonna say it, buddy. Ugh. I had Crunch up here for a minute and he was perfectly in frame, but you were busy.
Oh, was he? Damn it.
What's the word? Dave's out?
Yeah, so Dave's having technical difficulties. So
Okay.
what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap up and run some Arc Raiders and do a part 2 to when he can get back. Because I'm sure he's gonna want to chime in, and I don't want to go too far and have a part where he might have had a good question or something. You know what I mean? To where it's,
No, I had a lot of fun, man. I think we were on track though to go to probably 2 hours. So we were rolling.
Yeah. So, one, I think a lot of people gleaned a lot of insight, from what you do on a day-to-day basis. I know I did. I really enjoyed hearing too a little bit parts about the army that I didn't know about. We talked a lot of gaming, which was awesome. We could, like I said, we have talked about doing the gaming podcast. That's a very real possibility with the conversations we had today.
Right.
It was we got some good insight. I would say better than most of the gaming podcasts out there, but I am biased. But yeah, man, I mean, thank you for coming on. We're definitely going to do a part 2. Get more into the army, a little bit more about that, because we kind of touched on that, and get into what you did with the SoFi Center, how you had the presidential rally, which I know was a major event. But like I said, I want to touch on those things with Dave here too, so he can get that insight on it too and ask some questions about it. Plus, I
Excellent.
think we're going to post this episode and put another Patreon post up for when you do a part 2, and it gives people more time to, now that they've gotten to know you a little bit better, maybe ask them more questions and set it up for that. But
Absolutely, man.
yeah,
I
man.
want to say, well, thank you guys for having me. It's, it's not, it's thanks to Dave, kind of lost, technical difficulties, but it is what it is. But yeah, I had a ton of fun. And yeah, like I said, we're talking gaming, it just flows out. And I think we could. I mean, I think we all have the same kind of perspectives and a lot of different things and kind of feel differently about certain games and stuff. And yeah, man, like I said, it's weird to talk about what I do in like a format like this, not like a interview or something along those lines. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was cool, man. And it's I appreciate you wanting to talk to me and have me on. I know I've been watching you guys' episodes, and I feel honored that you wanted me on here. I knew it was gonna come.
Yeah, man.
So, but yeah, man, I'm down for a part 2, part 3, whatever you guys want to do. And yeah, let's go. Let's try to bring back the goods to Speranza and not get whacked with a hammer as soon as we land in the raid.
Yeah, dude. All right, brother.